communicated through via Utpatti Group, and I'm so grateful to Liswith and the Utpatti Group itself. So for the last couple of 10 years, we've been working with creatives, and mentoring them, teaching technical people and managers, and also C-suite executives. I've been working with them, mentoring them, and I have learned a couple of things for the last couple of 10 years that I've been in the immersive tech industry. And I just wanted to share these experiences with you. Then you know like where I am coming from, right? First of all, humans don't live alone, right? Humans, okay. Humans don't live alone, right? We have been engineered to, everyday work as groups of people. We when even in the evolution, we as monkeys, like we were brought up together as human beings, right? And also groups of people that work every day for a betterment of the a community that you live in. Maybe a tribe, right? Maybe families, maybe a team. So all of this, we come together as a team, right? So humans don't live alone. And even when you see these images, you see like group of people. Now here I have shown the Sri Lankan cricket team, right? The cricket fans who are supporting, you come together as a team. You say that okay, we are Sri Lankans, we are together. So there's a sense of community in each of the things that you do, even if it's a sport, even if it's a team play, even if it's at work. We do things as humans. We don't thrive alone, right? Every day you need people to talk to, like mom, dad, spouses, kids, and friends, right? Even introverts need a circle to survive in. Okay, and with this we the AI can keep you busy, but without human connections, you don't like feel human itself. Example: imagine if mom is asking you, right, son, have you had your meal, right? But it doesn't come from something like a Siri asking you how is your day been, right? So something like that. So human connections are very important when going forward. And what it does is like to thrive you as a human, and these connections really matter when going forward. All right. So when you're having connections, accountability and deliverables are very important, because I'm talking to two groups of people here. There are creatives here, there are technical people, there are managers, and Doerscircle and Utpatti coming together. There are two communities coming together. So I've kept it very general and for you guys to understand. So accountability. What does accountability really mean? And at the end of the day, people rely you on to show up at work and at home, right? Your kids don't care about AI productivity apps, they want your time, right? Your spouses doesn't want excuses from ChatGPT, they want you to keep their promises, right? At work, managers count on you, not on your AI tools. Also, being accountable is a human thing. At the end of the day, AI software or any kind of software is not accountable for your services. You are responsible as a person, and you are accountable as a person to, go and tell that, okay, I did something, I am responsible for this. No one else is taking responsibility. So I've been working with, like I told you, like I've been working with creatives and individuals for the last couple of years, right? Imagine if there's a deliverable that you need to present, right? Now imagine if it's a client coming to you and he asks for something, like imagine if you need to give that in 2 days, right? Imagine if it's a Friday that you need to deliver, and the client comes to you on a Wednesday and asks you, hey, can you draw a picture of me and my girlfriend for her birthday? And the client wants to create this on and give this on Friday itself. You take in the product, you take in the job, and you say, okay, I'm going to do this. And the next day you go get drunk with your friends, and you miss out the project. So these are real scenarios that I have gone through and I have experienced. So these are some of the experience that I have seen, right? So imagine if it's a guy who takes in the project and he doesn't deliver on time, and if he says on Friday, hey Machang, I didn't get to do this, and what would the client feel? Like he has given you something to do work on, and you are not accountable for what you have to deliver. that means you are not, you can't be trusted and you are not accountable for this. Is so this is a very human thing that you guys need to understand. And when you are delivering something, you need to be very accountable is being responsible for what you are taking in. So that really matters when it comes to delivering stuff. Yeah, and delivering what matters and what you promise to. Okay, so accountability and deliverables are very important when you are doing work as a human being. The next one is words can build or break. Words have weight. They can make relationships stronger or end them, right? When you speak with people, right? Words have a many, it has a weight that puts into you, right? They make relationships stronger or end them. I Now imagine me coming from a managerial background, right? And I've been working as a CEO for the last couple of 7 to 8 years. I've been working in the industry as well as I've been leading teams. Many I have lost good people with the words I have spoken, right? I regret it now. At with time I would have, I now I think I would have used a better set of words to keep them alive and, like, keep them in the projects. Some people have left, in some people have been broken hearted with. And, like, these are the small things that I would have, put some weight into it, and I would have little bit care more, like I would have little bit cared more than I would have done. So these are some of the things that you really need to understand. Speaking out of your mind needs to be limited, and, like, keep it yourself. Some words can hurt you. Some words can really, make you as well. But most of the time, you need to speak. You need to think before you speak always, and keep it together. And when at home, right? A bad word can ruin your day with your spouse or your mother or your father. You can, this can go to a very bad day, right? When at work, when a manager speaks to you, right? It's more powerful than an email that they send. Okay, so you need to understand that these words matter, and these words really, have an impact on the lives that you uh, do stuff to, right? And this is another example expression in the workplace. When you are working under someone, or when you are working with a team, or a group of individuals that you carry on a single project with, you need to have the freedom, and, you need to be able to express yourself so people would understand the situation that you are in, right? People need to express themselves and not just to deliver tasks, right? So I've been working with creatives, and creatives do tend to have their own egos. So this is from my experience as well. And I'm not, pointing fingers, but when we were creating, one of my past projects, we were creating a game, right? It was a long project, and these, the 3D artists and the artists were working together. And the 3D artists uh, changed, changed some of the content from the artist, from the detail that the artist gave, right? So from the art to 3D, there were some mistakes, like, actually not mistakes, but from the 3D model's perspective, it's right, but from the artist aspect, it's a little bit, off. So there's a communication gap in between. The artist is saying that, okay, I have done this right, but the 3D model is saying, no, this is not right. So there will be egos from both these ends saying, this is not right, this is not right, and all of that. So you need to communicate with your people, you need to communicate with your employees and, co-workers, and even with your manager to, express these ideas and come to a middle point where you really can deliver and not break hearts end of the project, right? End of the day, you're working towards a single goal, you're working towards something that needs to be delivered. But, coming together and, coming into a midpoint where you say, okay, this is what you need to do, okay, this is what I need to do, and we need to fix this out. So every aspect of this needs to be communicated to all of these, when you are coming to when you're coming into a single task and, getting something done out of a project. So that needs to be learned, and you need to learn how to express yourself. If you're angry, just tell you're angry. uh, if you are sad, you just say you're sad. If you're happy, or just say you are sad. Sometimes people don't try to express themselves, but it's better if other humans also can could understand your expressions. It's very, when you can keep your transparency with others, it's easier for us to work, even with managers or even with the people that you work with every day. You can have this, right? Only thing is, you need to be very authentic, and and you need to be very transparent about your feelings, right? This is about the leaders that I'm talking to, right? As a leader, a leader's words can motivate or break a team, right? So this has also happened to me earlier. I sometimes I didn't motivate them enough, so they tend to leave the project. So there are projects like that that I have also given up because I was not attentive enough to understand their situation, understand their motive, and like really this hurt some of our projects in the companies as well. So managers, HR team leads, all of they need to understand how humans feel, not just perform. So end of the day, it's just not about performing. You need to understand how what they are going through. Are they sad, or are they happy, or are they going through a financial problem? Anyone can go through a financial problem at any day, during this hard times in the country as well, right? So you need to understand, you need to be very understandable, and also it really means is to walk in their shoes, right? You need to really cultivate this. Most of these managers doesn't really know what empathy is, and then they really try to push people out of the thing, and put them in situations that they can't handle. So I think empathy needs to be learned by everyone. Empathy builds loyalty, and loyalty builds community. So empathy is a major factor that needs to be learned by managers. All right. So this is very important as well. So close circles matter. The people closest to you drive your success. So what does this mean, right? People closest to you, right? Maybe your friends or your family or your people at your work, they drive you, they give you hope. Okay, your mom and dad would come and say, hey son, you need to do this. End of the day, that we would achieve this, right? You need to learn, you need to go and get a degree, or they drive you. They wake up in the morning, they cook for you, and they dress you up, and they have taught you from the day one to go and chase a goal, right? Everyone is not coming from rich families in Sri Lanka. We, even I myself is from a middle class family, right? So we understand you. They drive you. They push you, right? Imagine if some people who doesn't drive you. They say, okay, just don't do this. Don't that's not enough. You're not enough. Then what mentally what happens to you is you mentally fall down to their grade, and then you slow yourself down as well. So always surround your circle with people who really drive you to success, and these people will give you purpose, not just driving you. Imagine if you go into a trouble someday, you go into like if you're falling in trouble, these people will be there for you, right? Find people who will be there, who is always in when you're in trouble. And when this matters when you're at work, when you're at a family event, or like when it comes to family also. Even your spouse, the person who you are married to, you need to be very careful. And you need to be there need to be people who really drive you to success, not put you down. So always choose the closest circle that matters, right? And this is also a very important thing that you need to understand. You need to cut out all the toxic influences that are blaming you, right? Leaders must always remain neutral. Now imagine if it's a workplace, right? You might find toxic people, you might find toxic clients, you might work with toxic managers, right? Always the leaders should always be neutral and understand what needs to be done. You shouldn't take sides. You always have to be neutral, and you need to be transparent, and you need to understand how this works, and you need to cut out the toxic people that they are pushing towards negativity in the workplace. It really will create a horrible place for people to work in. I have been there, and most of been working with some startups, like I told you, and then been it some startups turned out to be very toxic, so I had to leave there. So things like that normally happen, but your mentality, or your status should be to cut off toxic people and try to always keep positive people around you when it comes to work, family, or any sort of situation. AI can filter spam, but AI can't really filter toxic relationships, right? And then you need to keep this circles very very clean and not thrive with toxic people. What AI can't replace? AI can't replace trust, love, empathy, accountability, and loyalty, right? You can't expect an AI to be trustworthy. I don't think chat GPT would be empathetic in the words, but I don't think it can really come and pat a hand on your back and say, okay, it's going to be fine, right? That's what you really need. So that's the human connection, and an AI software wouldn't be accountable, as well as it would not be loyal, right? AI won't check you when you're sick. AI won't attend your child's school play. AI won't comfort you when you lose a loved one, right? It can simulate words but not share feelings. In the end, people matter, family, teams, and in leadership. So that's what AI can't replace and what humans can really do. So the main key takeaways is we don't live or work in isolation. We thrive in communities. We always work in try we work in communities. We talk to people. Even an introvert artist, you need to show it to some people, right? I have been with introvert people as well, and I am an extrovert myself. And also I understand how things work, right? But end of the day, if you are an introvert and you're keeping your art to yourself, that would be, it would not really help you out. You need to show this to people. You need a community to push your art, right? So everyone needs to understand this thing, right? Deliverables need to be accountable. Leaders need empathy. Words can build or break. Closed circles give you strength. Toxicity must be cut out. And last of all, AI is powerful, but people are irreplaceable. So you can't replace anyone with AI. Human feelings, humans matter. End of the day. So yeah, that's all for this presentation. I would like to take in some questions, and would love to hand over to Yasas, and then speak more about it. I hope this helped you guys out, and these were some of my experiences I put together within a quick time, and then I prepared for you guys since it was a busy week also. Thank you so much, Yasas. I would like to take any questions, and yeah, I would like to hand over to Yasas. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you. Thank you, Asit. Thank you for your slides and the presentation. Maybe you can stop sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So Yasit, maybe we'll start the discussion. There are questions coming through the Q&A channel as well. But if you have anything you want to ask that you haven't already asked, please do ask. We want this part of the event to be really an engaging discussion. Yasit, before I go to the
Yeah.
presentation itself, I kind of wanted to ask you about your journey as a founder. This is something that we typically cover in these sessions because who come to these events, they
Yeah.
are founders themselves, entrepreneurs or freelancers, or those who want to be one of those. And you've gone through that journey yourself to some extent, right? I mean, some founders have gone to a fairly advanced level, and some founders are in early stage, and you are in somewhere in that journey, right? And then you
In the
probably have
middle.
learnings. So I like to first maybe have you talk a bit about yourself in that sense, like how did you start as a founder? Did you work in companies, and how did you see an opportunity to move into a startup, just to help others, like how to make that shift, and what the journey was like for you at least.
Yeah, so now when it comes to my life, I was an interactive media student at SLIIT back in 2015. So from small days, I used to really play games, a lot of games, and I really wanted to see whether how these games work. You know, like how these 3D models are created. You know how these games are. Programmed, and like how people are coming together and creating something so awesome, like people could come and enjoy. So I was very curious about interactive media as a whole subject when I was growing up. So then I self-taught myself as a game developer back in like 2014. I did. There was even no proper YouTube videos back then, and then like I had to self-learn some of the content, and then started creating games. And while I was creating games, I started a job at a small IT firm. And then I thought, why wouldn't I start my own company and then we start creating games and start creating interactive content? Because I was into it already. And yeah, I took a leap of faith. I quit the job, and then with 100,000 rupees from my mom, I started off a company. I bought a table first of all. I started at my boarding place, the company, and then slowly things grew, and I found some investors as well. And then after that, that company failed, and then I started Lucido again. Yeah, so it's all experience. It's all experience. It's all communication. It's all work. It's all honest work. I have like the deep understanding of what I know is to be very honest. Be very honest about what you do. Now imagine if I have been through a lot of situations. I have got scolded from clients, like in in a really bad way, right? So I have understood these situations as well. That's why I told about accountability and leaving things on time. I've been working with a lot of clients, like I've been working with Nestle, Dialog, Softlogic, and yeah, so many wonderful brands here in Sri Lanka, from the top names. I've been working with them. And then what I understood is accountability, the quality of the product, giving things on time. So these are the core facts that I have learned as a entrepreneur, and handling people. I have handled a lot of people in my day, and yeah, so I would like we are, as Lucido, we are still growing as a company, and but during these 2 years of establishment, we have completed so many projects. Most of them for Spark alone, an augmented reality, a set of augmented reality applications for them. And yeah, so we've been working so hard, and we've been creating, we've been innovating with my team here at Lucido, and we are growing still. And I think if anyone out there who's looking, like trying to build your own business, don't lose hope in your business. Every day when I wake up, I think, how should I make, go make Lucido, shine, like every day. Even when my wife asks me what I'm doing, I've been thinking, in my bed, I've been seeing videos how to, market myself, how to do marketing, how to create good products, how to, understand how the technology works, how AI would, support your businesses, all of this. So with this, what you really need to do is, you need to, at the end of the day, you need to talk to clients, you need to express yourself, you need to be able to show your products out there. You No one would give you to a blank, no one would give you a work to a blank portfolio, right? They would not believe in you. But you need, while if you have a strong portfolio, things that you have done, the case studies that you have done, how you have approached this, the ways that the problems that you went through, all of this. So document these every day, have this with you every day, and then try to express yourself, and try to present yourself. And also presentation skills, your language is very important when going forward. You need to have your English skills as well. I'm also still learning a lot of things, but I think language barrier is a big problem here in Sri Lanka, and also I mean like in the world as a whole. You need to be able to express yourself. You need to understand, and you need to understand the room with the people you are presenting to, right? If it's the CEO, you need to talk to the CEO in a different way. If it's a manager, you need to talk to the manager in a different style. So these things come with experience. These things you will need to learn. You need to, how you need to learn about how psychology works. You need to know how, if it's a company that you're pitching to, if it's a eco-friendly company, you can't use red color slides. You need to have, green color slides. That experience you need comes with your ability to grab stuff, and attention to detail. It comes with experience, so you need to work every day towards a goal. So that's what
Got it.
I want to give you guys.
Thank you, Yasit. Yes, we have quite a few questions coming through, but before I start asking from the Q&A channel, I want to ask one last question from my end.
Yeah.
One of the challenges that we hear from new founders is about finding that first client. You may have an idea, or sometimes you may have a skill that you want to apply for your customers or a potential new client, but
Hmm.
how do you actually find that first client, because which is one of the milestones in the startup journey, right? And how was it for you, not necessarily maybe just the first client, but first few? How did you approach converting this passion into a revenue generating business?
Yeah. I'll tell you how I found my first client. Right. I was teaching game development for my students. I mean, like back at campus, I was doing I was teaching people how to make games back in like the campus, right? They had a subject called game development, and I was the only one who could teach someone. So I went there and I started teaching people. And then I was not even like, I was not in the sense of like, I want to become an entrepreneur. I didn't want to like, create a company. I did not have that sense earlier. What I did was I was not intentionally doing it, but I was uh, teaching people to create games. I was, taking in lecture halls, and I was teaching games. With this, what many of the students have, gone and recommended me to other, entrepreneurs, and like there's this kid who's making games. And yeah, so that's how I really got my first project. So I think what you guys need to do is to market yourself and show that you can really do something. That's what really matters. So that's where my spark was. And then I'm still grateful to those people who really recommended me to those clients, and suggested me. I think that's the way you should be. You need to market yourself. You need to show what you can do. Imagine if it's now, if imagine if Lucido goes down tomorrow. If I have to start a new company again, I know how to do it, right? Because I know I have with the experience that you need to. What you first really need to do is you need to build your profile first of all, even in LinkedIn, even in Facebook. Or you need to show that your friends would say, okay, stop, showing off. But at the end of the day, showing off is what you really get a
Yeah.
job to, right?
All right, yes,
So
it. Um, If you're okay, I'll move to the Q&A thread
sure,
because
sure,
we
sure.
have several questions to get through. But thank you very much for
Yeah,
sharing. I
yeah,
guess that's important, and profile building is extremely important. And we've spoken many times about it. I myself do a lot of LinkedIn kind of posts and branding for myself as well as the company, and that's been really helpful.
yeah.
The first question: do you think, as a CEO, talking to a creative person is different from the way you would talk to a software engineer?
Yes, definitely. So I've been since I told you, we've been working with many game projects. So my game developer, who's a software engineer, is not the tone I talk to as a creative guy, right? Because a creative person takes uh, things very personally, right? He said, now imagine if it's art that you create. If I go and say, hey, look, man, it doesn't look good. It doesn't fit this. It really hurts that person, right? Because it takes it personally. You put a lot of effort to it. Do the art. You think, you take some time off. You think to do this design, and come up with a creative, sort of a thing to create this. It takes some time for him or her to put this together and then come up with a design, right? But then if I go and say, okay, this design is not suitable enough for the game or for the design, it would not be nice. I would take a step back. I would say, look at, come look at these other drawings. Would you think this would suggest? Do you think this would be okay to say? Why don't we do this? And then, like, why shall we have another iteration of this? We would like shall we talk to the team, and we'll see whether this works or not, right? So that's a step back when I approach people like that when it's come to creative stuff. But when it comes to software engineer, I could directly go and ask myself also. I'm coming from a development background. I know if it's not working, it's not working. If the output is not working, it's not working at all, right? It's a creative mindset. You have to
Yeah,
work both these mindsets out. So the approach that I take to a software engineer is very different. I say, no, this is not working. This needs to have a change, because it's clear cut. When it comes to coding, or when it comes to engineering, it's clear cut. You have a space that you can play
yeah,
into. But when it comes to a creative space, there are so many ideas. There is emotion involved, and there is empathy involved in all of that. But when it comes to something, when it comes to when it comes to an engineering or a technical background, you can tell people, okay, this is not working. You can see this, right? And even the engineers know it's not working, right? So it's a different approach, and it's a very thing to do. And you need to have fluidity in your self to change according to situations, and not take things personally as well.
sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Asit. The next question is from John. He's from the UK. He's been joining some of our events recently. John asks, as a creative founder, how do you keep the motivation high in the team and get them to work together?
Yeah. So, John, yeah, been now there are two types of projects that we encounter every day, right? So there are short-term projects and as well as long-term projects, right? When it comes to long-term projects, no, let me tell you about the short-term project first. You have a separate timeline. You now imagine if it's a client that I need to deliver it. Now, within a month, we need to create something. Imagine if it's an immersive experience or a VR product that we are creating. We have a certain time limit we need to uh, present to, right? And also now we create this pipeline, and we create a certain timeline, and we work towards a certain goal within a certain time period, and people are motivated to hit the goal within that month. And like, we have this limited time that we need to work towards, right? And that's easier rather than having a long term project, doing it every day. Now, these are two projects that I'm talking about. So one project was this immersive experience that we were doing. So we had to create this according to these dates. Now we have a tight budget and a tight timeline. Within 7 days, you need to complete this. So people would come together and quickly do this. And with that motivation, you don't have time to think about other anything else, right? You need to come up with the product. You need to really quickly brainstorm, and you need to finish it, right? But when it comes to a game, longer game, now imagine if it's you're building something for a year or two, right? You see the people every day you're coming to work. You get up every day and you come into work, and you see the same faces, same, if there's a fight earlier day, you come into the office with that hatred to the next day, because someone has criticized about your artwork, or maybe your code or something like that. It goes for a long time, right? And And to keep every day, what I had to do was to like really communicate with them and tell, okay, just stop this right now, right? We have a bigger goal coming forward. We need to really somehow sort it out. And I sometimes intervene and I say, you guys just stay away, let me do it and let me handle it, and let I take the responsibility of, and let's look this forward. I'll take the responsibility. Sometimes I had to be accountable on some reasons, right? But sometimes it works out. Most of the time, with my experience, I have made it work. But like when it comes to managers who are trying to put it out, there will be so many issues, so many people problems, and then you need to have a proper HR who doesn't take the sides of you or the company or the employees. You need to have a neutral HR who can really manage these people, and a good
Sure.
manager who has people skills to say, okay, no, this is not what you're gonna do. Hey, come, let's have a drink today. Let's figure something out. So it's a human thing. Even when it comes to bigger teams and with long term projects, this is what is happening on an everyday basis. So you need to really have the people skills to really work towards it, and then you should be able to resolve it within the given couple of days, or like the time period that you have, you need to resolve, because there can be tighter deadlines as well. There can be problems with employees. These are normal things when it comes to creative projects, working with creatives, and as well as putting both creatives and technical people together.
Sure.
This is a normal thing if you are working on both bases at the same
Sure.
time.
All right, Yasit, I'll move a bit fast.
Sure, sure.
We have few more questions to get through. At the same time, welcome Jamie. Jamie is a colleague of mine from Doerscircle. He'll also talk
Hi,
about
Jim.
Doerscircle towards the
Yeah.
end. The question from Chanuka: do you think AI is flattening our sense of taste, or is it simply exposing how limited it already was?
I would say AI is overstimulating the human brain. So that's what I would really think. People, now imagine the visuals that you see on AI, or the world, the. I'm basically most of the time it's visuals that I see is more overstimulating your brain. Sometimes the brain is programmed to see things in a certain way. uh, the world works in a certain way. Now, if it's an AI video, your brain doesn't understand how this is going to work take place. So it's really overstimulating your brain, and I think this will really affect the minds of people in the future. And it's like taking a drug. Like it's really overstimulating what you're thinking, the thinking patterns, I mean, the normal how the world works, the physics and all of that. It really breaks out. So I really think it's just overstimulating, and it keeps it'll be very bad for the people in the future as well. So I think it's what's happening. It's overstimulating.
Sure. And the next question, Yasit. If you are the CEO and you notice there's constant headbutting between two heads of departments that must work together, example, head of marketing and head of sales, or head of marketing and head of finance, how do you get them to collaborate instead of pulling in opposite directions?
Um, Look, there is no straight answer to this until I understand the real situation, right? But what we can really do is take step for backwards. Take some time off from the team, like take them to somewhere you can talk to, right? That is why community is very important. It doesn't have to be a workspace. You go out, you have a drink with them, you make them come together. Okay, say this is you, and you need to explain how we are working towards a goal. Now, end of the day, imagine the CEO or CEO, the directors are the only people who are getting a profit out of it, right? So why would you put why would you put yourself, degrade yourself in someone else's shoes, right? And like create a hateful environment there, create something bad there. Try to we try to always come together and work towards a certain goal. Try to take them out, like try to go out and have a solid conversation with them. Try to keep it very transparent every day. Now, if it's a marketing head that you are talking to, or two heads of the department, there would be people under them who also would be, putting, fuel under them, right? To, burn this out, and, they want to see this place, come go in flames. There are people like that who, create these toxic environments, and, like, even when, even at companies, people have subcultures of their own, right? Subcultures also, come together and they butt heads as well, right? And then, there will be so many issues going forward as well, right? But what I understand is, as a leader, what I would do is, I would, talk to them in an open, transparent environment. Take them, take them out to a dinner, or, have a comfortable space for them to talk to, and then come up with a middle solution where we both the parties can settle it. So that is the best solution. The other might not be happy, but as a leader, you should be able to control them, right? And say, okay, this is what I want, not what you want. So you need to
Right.
have the authority to create that situation.
Sure. Mantila is asking a question. As beginner, it's very difficult, especially in artistic endeavors. Breaking into the industry is difficult. With AI getting more good and good, it's somewhat off-putting and demotivating to keep on going. What advice would you give someone who's struggling to start things up in the age of AI?
Yeah, so this is a large problem that many of the creatives are going through now. Most of, even like now, even the photographers are going through a lot of trouble right now, right? Most of the studios, they now, if you add a pic or two, you could get a studio called to create photo out of, AI. So I think there is a problem in, like, when it comes to creativity as a whole, AI is putting you out of business. Even when it comes to game development, you can even create games with AI within a couple of seconds. So even we are, facing this trouble as a whole. Everyone is going to trouble, but you need to be able to understand that, yes, humans do tend to use AI, but still, you will be falling behind a lot. But always try to be very authentic. In the end, your authentic products would be, have value, right? Imagine, looking at an art created by a AI software, or, would really put you, that is created from AI, because you doesn't have the soul and heart to it, right? But when you create what you really love about. Now, imagine if it's an art that you create with your own hands, there's a soul put to it. There's a creativity put to it. And what I think, you need to you don't need to stop creating. Try to use AI as a tool for your success, and, don't think it as a problematic situation. Try to use AI tools for your betterment. Try to, convert them as a tool. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Like, even
Sure.
even we are going through some, changes as well due to AI. And the world doesn't stop. Why don't you shouldn't stop also. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Because now, even when it comes to creating games and creative stuff, uh, writing something out of ChatGPT is very easy for us to, really quickly maintain, because other people are using it, and we can't fall behind, thinking we are not using AI. Okay, we are a company that doesn't use AI, then you are really far behind, right? But you need to take this as a tool. You need to take this as an opportunity. You need to create your own instance where you can go forward.
Sure. All right. Thanks, Yasid. Because it's the last 5 minutes, I would like to invite Jamie to introduce Doerscircle. But Yasid, there are a couple of questions that we couldn't answer in the Q&A thread. Maybe you can type answers for Chanuka Nadum Pereira. And if there are more questions, you can also ask, and whatever Yasid can answer, he will. And also, you can also connect with Yasid on LinkedIn, and then I can help connect on email as well. So you can directly have these conversations one-on-one with Yasit as well. So with that, Jamie, over to you.
Thanks, Yassis, and hello everyone. Lovely to connect with you all. And for those who are in the Upati group, I popped a little note in there earlier. That was me, Jamie. So looking forward to catching up with more of you. Sounds like it's been some fantastic questions and great insights. So thanks, Yasip, as well for sharing that. So I won't take long because I'm mindful we're about to hit the end of the hour. So I just thought I'd give you a quick overview of Doerscircle, and then